Everyone, in this video we're going to go through the solutions to the 2023 Advanced Maths exam. So there are the solutions, oh sorry, not the solution, there's no solutions there. There are the answers. The only issue was with question 3, there was actually no correct answer, so apologies for that. But you got the mark for that, and you also got the mark for question 1 because you were told there were no answers when in fact there was. So what we're going to do in this video is not necessarily go through every single question because, in detail. I'll go through each question but not in too much detail, just to try to keep this video maybe around 30 minutes long. Okay, so I'll talk about common errors, or how to do the questions. And most of these questions in multiple choice could be done on the calculator. That doesn't mean that it's probably the quickest method to do it on the calculator, but obviously you can do a lot of it on the calculator. So with question 1, question E is the only one that is incorrect. So the expanding of the bracket, so A times A is A squared, whereas we've got A cubed there, so that's why that one is incorrect. Question 2, one that you could do on your calculator, but not hard to do by hand. So if you could understand your index laws, so just be careful with this one. The 2 is squared, that's why we got the 4 there. But again, putting that into your calculator is quite easy to get 12t to the power of 9. All right, question 3, there were no correct answers. So if you're watching this video and it's not 2023, so it's in the future, I'll probably change this question so there is a solution. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right, moving along. So question 4, which one of these is not equal to 6? So again, you could plug all these into your calculator. Some of them you could probably quite easily do in your head. So the first one, square root of 144 is 12. 12 times a half is 6. But some of the other ones you might not be able to do. So the cubed root of 216 you might have had to plug into your calculator. Square root of 36 is 6, and 3 root 4. So the square root of 4 is 2. So yeah, quite easy to do in your head. Quicker to do in your head, but obviously you could use your calculator if you wanted to. Question 5, expressed with a rational denominator. So we've got the same denominator, which is the square root of 3. So that means we could add those fractions together. So when we add them, we just add our numerators. So 2 plus 1 is 3. So it's 3 over root 3. And then just multiplying by root 3 on root 3. So that should be a multiplier sign. Putting 3 root 3 into your calculator should probably rationalize it for you. So let's just have a quick look-see. So we've got 3 on root 3. Sometimes my calculator likes to be slow. Whoops, I knew you were going to do that. Can we delete one of you? Alright, there we go. Oh, and I've got it in decimal form, so we'll just try again. Alright, and it simplified it for you. Okay, moving along. The perimeter of a square, so this is actually not that difficult. Perimeter means the outside of the shape, so there's our shape, and we've got 4 sides. And each side is the square root of 8 plus 2, so we've got 4 of them. So there it is, and you can see it's already in that form. We don't have to actually do anything to it. So yeah, you can plug it into your calculator, but your calculator is going to simplify it for you. So probably best to see it in its unsimplified form. All right, question 7, a right angle triangle XYZ has side lengths 38.5 and 24. All right, what is the length of XZ? So just using Pythagoras' theorem, wasn't a hard one. Question 8, sorry, it's really hard to, I either scroll really quickly or I don't scroll that fast at all. All right, so we've got triangle PQR and we have to find the area. I know it says R, but I think I probably fixed it on your exam. area. Half BC sine A is the formula you will use. So remember, with the area of the triangle, you have more than one, not just your standard half base times height, which you've learnt probably since primary school. So just plugging in those values to get the area. All right, so let's scroll on. For an observer on the ground at A, the angle of elevation of a weather balloon at B is 37. So I haven't put B up there, but there it is. Remember, your angles of elevation and depression always go from your horizontal. So because this is an elevation, we're going up to B, and there's your angle. So you did have to draw a diagram for this one. It told us the distance is 2,200 meters, and we want to know the height. So just using the tan ratio and plugging that into your calculator will give you that height. All right, question 10. So I'm trying to do this without. Okay, Marcus is on the opposite side of a large lake from a horse and it's stable. The stable is 150 meters directly east of the horse. So we've got a diagram there. So I've just added that 150. Marcus is on a bearing of 170 from the horse. So here it's told us that north is upright. You can see I've kind of drawn that bearing there. So that's 170, and then 205 from the stable. So there's that bearing there, 205. So I've redrawn that triangle here. So because it's east, the horse is east, the stable is east of the horse, means that these two angles, we've got 80 and 65, because your north and your east line make a 90 degree, and that gives this angle of 35, because all angles inside a triangle add up to 180. So then we can just use the sine rule to solve for the distance between Marcus and the horse. All right, this one was probably quite tricky. If you had a compass rose in your bound book, so I'm pretty sure I gave you all one, whether you stuck it in your bound book is another thing. This question would have been pretty straightforward if you also had a ruler with you. The diagram that I've drawn there is not the best because I probably drew it as I was going. So let's do it again. So there's our north line. Oops. Sorry about that. I've just had to turn my emails off. Oh, I think they turned off. I don't know whether they did actually. I think they have. Anyway, you probably have no idea because I paused it to check. All right, so that's east. So remember, from north to east, it's 90 degrees. So the bearing of O to M is 38 degrees. Now, the two lines I'm about to draw, so the distance between M, P, and O. So M to O and P to O is the same distance. So that's why if you had a ruler, it's better because you can draw your actual angle. So 38 degrees is roughly there. And it's not a very straight line, but you can see there's your 38. I've drawn it down there. And then we've got 152 for the other one. So we're going from north still around to there. And that leaves this angle in here as 28, because if we went all the way to south, it would be 180 degrees. So this second line is closer to north. All right, so it's 28. Now this angle in between, all right, if it was a 90 degree angle, which is it's not, it would be slightly different, but it's not. So if you think about this line down the bottom, actually I might just draw it here so it might be easier to explain. So let's draw the number, let's draw a K. All right, so this angle here and this angle here, let's say they're 45 degrees. All right, so that means that this point here, which we could call M, and this point here, which we call P, is at 180. All right, it's straight down because the two angles here are the same. In our question though, this lower part is closer to the north-south line. Okay, so this is 38 degrees away. Whoops. 38 degrees, and this one is 28 degrees. So that means if I was to draw a line going down like that, it is past 180 degrees. So there's your north again, and we're going around. So it's going to be 180 plus something, some angle. All right, so that's why your answer is D. So quite a tricky question because you didn't have a diagram, and if you had to draw a diagram, it had to be a clear diagram. All right, so moving on to question 12. All right, the diagram below shows a rectangular base pyramid. The length of all sloped edges at 28. So everything's labeled on the pyramid. So we want to find the height, so this distance here. So what I've got on the side on the right is two triangles. So that's what I use to find that height. I can't find that height, which I've labeled Y. So that's OE. And let's say I don't know that it's 28 and 13 just yet. This triangle up the top is actually the triangle, if you can kind of see, down the bottom here. All right, so going from A to B to C. And did I say a square base pyramid before? It looks like a square, but it's not, it's rectangular. All right, so then I had to just find this diagonal. So this diagonal is from A to C, going through the middle of the base. So I found that to be 26. We only want to go from A to O. All right, so half of 26 gives us the 13. So then you can use Pythagoras' theorem to find Y. So Y being 24.8. So 2 steps there with Pythagoras' theorem. All right, now you can use your calculator again. These should be quite quick for you. If you're converting radians into degrees, you're multiplying by 180 over pi. So that should be a straight plug into the calculator. Question 14, you can also put it straight into the calculator. So it wouldn't actually take too long to type all them in. If you knew your exact values quite well, you could probably do it even quicker. I would probably think about which one it's not and then just double check. All right, question 15, the amplitude and period of. So remember your amplitude is always positive, so that's 3, so we can get rid of A and B. And then your period is 2 pi over n, where n is the number in front of x. So we're going to be doing 2 pi over 2, which is the same as 2 pi times its reciprocal, so 2 on pi. All right, so those pi's cancel, and then we get a period of 4. Again, you could just type all that into your calculator. You don't have to do that by hand. All right, question 16, just understanding the quadrants. So quick unit circle, all are positive in the first, sine positive in the second, then tan, and then cos. So that will give you the first statement and the last statement are correct. All right, question 17, another one, we have to identify what's correct. So 1 period is a full revolution of the unit circle. So this one's a bit hard to see because it has actually been shifted up. So if you think about that being our midline, so it's been shifted, so it's gone from your x-axis up to, so that's why the last one's correct. And one full, what do you call it, a period is from 0 to 2 pi, so that one's correct. Your amplitude is the distance from the center to the outside, so we already know that's 2, so we're going to add one more, is 3. And your y-intercept is actually at down here at 0, -1, so only 3 statements true there. All right, question 18, moving on to some linear. All right, so we're heating a fish tank, so just interpreting what this point means. So 5 hours costs 20 cents. So if we want to know how much it is for 1 hour, we can just do 20 divided by 5, gives us 4. All right, which is the same as your gradient. So 4 cents an hour. All right, question 18 was a little bit trickier. So we've got 2 points there, so you can find the equation of your line, which is here. And then if we're finding where it crosses the x-axis, we're just letting y equal 0. All right, and that gives us an x-intercept at x equals 2 All right, question 20, satisfying the inequality. So just plugging those values in, that's pretty much all you need to do for this one, and understanding the inequality signs really. So D is, satisfies. I was like, where's correct? But that's what we want. We want the one that's correct. All right, getting really thirsty talking so quickly. Question 21, we've got a horizontal line. So any horizontal line has the equation y equals some value, and that value is your y-intercept. So any point along this line, your y is going to be the same, which is that 2. So it's y equals 2. All right, so for this one, rearranging your equation is probably the best. So when I did that, I got y equals 3x. The y-intercept is 0, so there's like a plus 0 on there. So the first one passes through the origin. Yes, your origin is 0, 0. Okay, so my y-intercept is 0, so it passes through the origin. The slope is not 12, it is 3. So I could immediately see that that is not true. I don't really need to go through the others, but I think I'd check them anyway. Because this part is the same, they have the same slope. 1, 3, just substitute it in to see if the left-hand side equals the right-hand side. And because your gradient is positive, as x increases, y also increases. All right, a builder's fee can be determined from the rule, blah, blah, blah. All right, so you just had to substitute in different values there. So let's just say for the first one, c equals 60, n equals 1, and then you just had to see if the left-hand side equaled the right-hand side. So for c it does, for all the others it doesn't. So c equals 500, n equals 8. Just back up a bit. All right, initially there are 5,000 litres of water in a tank. Water starts to flow out of the tank at a constant rate of 2 litres per minute until the tank is empty. All right, so if it's starting at 5,000, that's your starting value, and then the minus is being emptied, so it's minus 2t. All right, question 25, the equation of the line that crosses the x-axis at 0, 4. So in our equation, y equals mx plus c, that tells us our y-intercept is 4. And it is perpendicular to the line with the equation y equals negative 2x. So there's our gradient. So for it to be perpendicular, our gradient is going to be the negative reciprocal of that, which is just a half. So there's our equation, which I've written here. So I don't really need to do any working out. You know, it's told me everything I need to know in the question. The thing is, my answers are not in that form. They're in intercept form, so you just have to rearrange it. And you can see how I rearranged it there. And I actually just double checked it by rearranging it back. All right, I think that's it for the multiple choice. All right, so for section B, the extended response. So question 1, we just had to solve some linear equations. Question 1A was done really well, so easy 2 marks probably for most of you. Question B, quite a few errors. One of them being you realize that your common denominator would be 35, but then you forgot to multiply the right-hand side by 35 when you got rid of it. Also expanding your bracket. So it's negative 7 times 3x and negative 7 times 1. So a lot of you forgot that negative there. And we did go through that before your exam as a common error. All right, question 2. A mining company surveyor left point A and walked at a bearing of 330 degrees, marking his track with pegs. Another surveyor started at point B, 12 kilometres due west, and marked his path along a bearing of 20 degrees. The surveyor's paths met at point C. So question A was pretty much a gimme, 3 marks, easy peasy question. I think some people just did not see that there because there's no lines. So you really have to be careful of things like that. So you've got your 330 there, your angle there, and your 12 degrees there. All right, just find the angle at what at which the paths of the surveyors met. So we wanted this angle up here. Okay, so we can work out the angles within the triangle, which I've done here, 90 minus 20 and 330 minus 270. So that gives us an angle at C of 50 degrees. If the surveyors decide to leave point C and return to point B, what is the bearing they should walk on? So there's just on that bearing there. So alternate angles. So this 20 degrees is the same as this 20 there. So that's why it's 180 plus 20 gives you 200. All right, what do we got next? Okay, so this was a show that question. Gave you the answer probably just so if you knew you're on the right track, maybe you finished the exam early and you could go back and spend a bit of time on it. Already told you one of the lengths was 12, so you did have to find these other two lengths, and you can see my working out there just using the sine rule. All right, just making sure you also put everything on your triangle and label it. That's the most important thing. All right, show that the area enclosed is 76.5. So I used this formula, half BC sine A. So B and C, and then your included angle. So just making sure you're using the correct values for that area formula. Was that the last one? All right, question 3. Most of you did really well on this. I was really pleased. So, so there's a fun run going around a lake. Different checkpoints. So the very first question, you had to label 3 points, which was done really well. Well done, girls. And question B was done really well as well. So just finding the equation. So 2 marks for that, which was quite easy to do. Just scrolling down, trying not to skip anything. All right, question C was done quite well for most of you, but it's a y equals c. So it's just basically asking you what the equation of this line is. So if this one's 2, 8, that equation, everything on that line is y equals 8. Okay, so we did a similar one earlier in multiple choice. Checkpoint C is located at the intersection of the dashed line and that. Show that A equals 14. So all you had to do for that, and so you didn't get penalized if you got the previous one wrong. It kind of told you that the y value was 8. So you did have to substitute that in to get your answer. Now this is a show that question. With show that questions, you aren't supposed to substitute your answer in. So something like this, students often think, oh, I just need to show that the left-hand side equals the right-hand side. No. You're given the answer because you might need to use it further down. So you've got to pretend, okay, that answer is not there. I've got to do my working out and hope I get A equals 14. Okay, so always just cover, pretend that they haven't given you the answer, and you just do answer the question, and at the very end, you should have the answer like I have here, not substitution. So if you did substitution, I wouldn't have given you the mark. All right, question E was done well by maybe a third of you, so that was good. It was a hard question though. So we're finding the angle ABC. All right, and I've drawn that circle on there. It's a bit hard. So we're going from A to B to C. So we're finding this angle in here. If I go down, we've got a right angle here and then this angle in the triangle. So you'll notice with my diagram, all right, so we had a line going off there. So there's your right angle. So we've had to add that, 90, and we had to work out theta. So adding them together, we get 117 degrees. I was really pleased to see people get that one. The next one was also answered quite well. So another perpendicular question. So just understanding that your gradient was true and it's passing through this point. So substituting that in to get your equation. And then very last one, 3 marks. So you did have to find the distance. The 12 was not too hard. I don't think it was given to you, but easy to find because it was a horizontal distance. And then these other two, just using the distance between 2 points formula. Some people for this one had 6√3, and so you lost a mark. So we did have, 4 root 5 plus 6 root 5, because they're like surds, can be added together. Anyway, girls, well done on an exam. Very, very challenging, but so proud of what you're able to achieve. Okay, bye.